Hi, I'm Judge Cynthia Latoya Miller of the 36th Judicial District Court, and I'm pleased and honored to have with me today some folks who've appeared in front of me in court and are able to tell you for themselves about what I do in the courtroom, how I behave with the folks that appear in front of me in the courtroom, and how I handle my cases. I'm also pleased to have some lifelong friends here, as well as some folks who've worked with me in the community. And today you'll learn a lot more about why we, Detroiters, should keep Judge Cynthia Latoya Miller at the 36th Judicial District Court.
I'm Allison Vaughn, founder of Jackets for Jobs, and I had the pleasure of meeting Judge Miller years ago when she was the director of Detroit's Workforce Development Department, and I was so impressed with how she wanted to make sure that the Detroiters were working. She was so committed and dedicated to the city of Detroit. And now that she is a judge, we need to retain her because she is a dedicated community leader. She does so much on the bench and off the bench for Detroit citizens. I have grown to truly admire and look up to her as a role model because all the wonderful things that she does in the community. Because of her advice, our organization, Jackets for Jobs, has been able to assist over 10,000 individuals. Because of her help, she helps so many people put their best foot forward, getting employed and helping citizens of Detroit. Keep Judge Miller.
Hi, my name is Andy Abram. I'm the owner of Wirelink Communications. I met Judge Miller in her courtroom. When I entered her courtroom, I was very hesitant and kind of worried of what the action or what the outcome would be. After sitting down and watching all the other cases that passed through, I noticed she was not an ordinary judge. She sat there, she explained things to people. She believed in people having a second chance. She gave them a second chance. And also at the same token, Judge Miller was a no-nonsense judge. She's a very, very awesome professional judge. And from the way she treated everybody in the courtroom was with respect. She didn't sit there, make anybody feel lower than her. Just because she was sitting on that high chair does not mean that anybody else in the courtroom was lower than her. She wasn't this judge sitting on this throne and making you feel like a little ant in the courtroom. She sat there, she explained things. And when people sometimes are sitting there dumbfounded, don't know what's going on, she did totally the opposite. She explained things. Now, I've been in front of other judges where you walk in, I've seen other people getting mistreated, disrespectful, and I've seen the hammer thrown at them. But this one was totally the opposite. She worked with you. She encouraged you to go to work. If you had a problem, she encouraged you to go to school. These were some of the requests that she made out of these people. And if none of these things were done, then you would have a problem with her. Other than that, she's very fair and very, very wonderful judge to appear in front of. And my thing is, re-elect Judge Miller for 2010, November 2nd.
I'm Martha Schlesinger. I'm a community activist and consultant to many of the organizations here in Detroit. I've known Judge Miller and her family for more than 20 years, and I've observed that she is very much a part of her own family's tradition. Wisdom is not something that you are born with, but Judge Miller's extensive community experience and her own hands-on involvement in the organizations that help build and keep this community great are things that make her a wise and committed jurist. This community needs people on the bench who are both accessible and committed to the community, to strengthening the community, and to helping its people. I'm Martha Schlesinger, and I think we should all keep Judge Miller for 36th Judicial District Court.
Hi, my name is Timothy Williams, and I was in Judge Miller's court just recently. And I was a little bit nervous and stuff like that, but when she stepped into the courtroom, you understand, and started taking care of her business, she started looking out for people, and I felt much relaxed. She was courteous, fair, and professional, and she really listened to people. And that's why I'm going to go for her for re-election on November the 2nd. Keep Judge Miller, and that's all I got to say.
I've been licensed to practice law in the state of Michigan since 1996, when I graduated from the Detroit College of Law at that time. becoming its first African American woman class president in its 105-year history. Since that time, I have prided myself on treating people as an attorney, as a person who's been a defendant, as a person who's been the plaintiff, and as now the judge. I've prided myself on treating people as I would want to be treated. I look at myself and I understand that but for the grace of God, I could be on the other side of that bench, either as the attorney practicing before the judge, or as the defendant, or as a plaintiff, or as a victim. And I have been all of those things at different times. So I understand the courtroom. I understand what has to happen in the courtroom and how it should be run. And I pride myself and my team on making certain that people feel comfortable in our courtroom, that they feel welcome, and that they understand that what has occurred when they leave the courtroom. I don't want anyone to leave the courtroom and not know what just happened, to stand in the hall with a piece of paper wondering, what is this? What does this mean? What does dismiss without prejudice mean? Or do I have to come back, or am I all done with it? I want them to leave the courtroom and understand exactly what the next steps are and what they have to do to either protect their driver's license, their property, or whatever the case may be. I have the pleasure, honor, and privilege of presiding over all of the court's dockets. I hear cases on the landlord-tenant docket, civil claims, landlord-tenant cases, as well as felonies and misdemeanors. And I'm honored and privileged to hear all of those cases. I am the daughter of George Boyer Miller Jr. of Helena, Arkansas, and Sharon Elaine Bernard, formerly Miller, of Detroit, Michigan. And I am privileged to be their child. They are the first black couple to have graduated from the University of Arkansas in the history of that law school. And my mother, Sharon, is the very first black woman to be licensed as an attorney in the state of Arkansas. To be their child is just an incredibly mind-blowing thing. And it also exposed me at a very young age to the requirement of service, to the requirement of giving back to our community, to understanding that I stand upon very firm shoulders and people who gave so much back, and therefore I owe the same. My parents got me involved with the NAACP when I was just a young person. At 5 years old, I became the statewide youth chaplain for the NAACP in the state of Arkansas. From that time till now, and I am currently 47, I have continued to serve my community. I am the current president of the Association of Black Judges of Michigan, and for me to be in such a position after only having served on the court for 4 years is an incredible privilege and honor, and very humbling for me to serve in that capacity. I am the past president of the Wolverine Bar Association, the past president of the Women Lawyers Association of Michigan, and I am the past chair of the National Bar Association Women Lawyers Division. I'm a Golden Heritage Life member of the NAACP, a sustaining member of the TULC, and a very proud member of St. Cecilia Roman Catholic Church, of which I have been a member for the last 30 years of my life. I ask for your support. You need to keep people who understand the critical importance of service, who understand what it means to be a community leader and not just someone who puts their name on a piece of paper but doesn't actually do anything. Keep Judge Miller. Vote November 2nd, 2010.